But the assignment created through like a water show or whatever book you use, or you have to manually create
don't have books.
You're gonna stand
Right here.
Then I can see that maybe an e-text.
And the phone yesterday. That saved me a lot of lives.
But also, all the publications with some of the where they were actually
Boy, she should have stayed up around the table.
That's what happened.
Because he knows that really that little tutorial that we had was really not enough to store the So he has some stuff.
That's all right, girl.
She had
I like that. I like that. That was good. That was
and she was helping them.
I like that.
You know, and she showed me how to do something in Word and attach it and send it to my boss.
We're gonna help you out, Mariah. We're gonna help you out, Mariah. You snuck out of here last week before I could talk to you. Like, you didn't get a chance to talk to you. Well, I wanted to.
all right, now I'm going to have to take it. Ashley, you never see the baby girl. You don't have to put that little arrangement in my bag.
Oh, that's what you want to
There she go right there.
I'm in your spot. I think I'm in your spot.
That's my spot.
As soon as
One time. I had no partake in it, but it's okay. I was there. I was there. Look, John, she said, people tell me and look, after the baby came out, John, he left me. He told my baby, I want to get a baby. He ain't seen him for hours. I'm glad my mama stayed. He wanted to leave. He said, I'm going to switch my baby. He just knows. Oh, Dion, I almost forgot. I need to get your address so I can send you. I forgot. I'm sorry. Matter of fact, it made me hot outside the big jacket. I was like, Mama, talk to me. You ain't talking to me. Look at Brandon's on right now. You wasn't playing.
on the job, bro.
What you got?
And we didn't talk about all this foolishness they talking about. Right. Something unimaginable. And I was so excited. I don't know.
No, he got it.
Yes, indeed. Did I consider me having the best signature?
Chicken skin to get you in.
Not a whole book is holding. I got no signature. Not a whole book is holding. So she was playing. That girl got her.
I said, you already know, but so put it down.
I see.
They said if Corona was a person, and then they had Lil Wayne on it. And I said, and they did the rapper Lil Wayne. He looked like a
It was just like 11 o'clock.
They took his phone like,
Yeah, I also did my after dinner snack. Water is taking me to a while. I have cup with water. I mean, cup of water. Yeah. And I was already sick. Not only sinus infection and iron deficiency of the rush. When you say
That's right.
people just but you know they I mean I feel like we would where I just feel like a conversation should follow with something so people don't have to allergies. Like one night.
And Mom, I even offer to go to the store for her. Don't get that shot from her.
I'm still
I'm trying to help out. I ain't gonna do it right now.
I was like, you went to the
Monday. Monday after 59.
so they could feel the rock.
Look, he said, yes. You better say, y'all give me a high five. See how we do? I ain't gonna say John, he reminds me of how old I am. But he look at teenager.
Exactly right.
I was like,
You get my point though. You know how much you're saying.
How you doing?
How you doing,
Ready, brothers? You're there. Give him what he gave. Yep. That's all we can do. And look, with that, we can't go wrong.
Praise team, if you'll come up, please, bro.
I know, right?
We came through that door.
Oh, wow.
We came through that door. You want to come back?
I put fresh batteries in it.
That's serious right there.
That's what you want to have our way up. Put your hammer on.
Test. Test.
Sorry.
Test. 1, 2. Trust me. Bless you. Go, trust me.
Me too.
Not mad, madam. She's just like, I ain't mad at it. No, I'm just saying. I'm meeting no
Straight cover to you.
That's my interest. I just say, this something's closer to me. That's that. I'm interested in it. So I want you to know that, please. I'm just saying, I'm just saying, I'm totally the singing apples. This might be when they show up. So you see, I know that it ain't exactly our thing. But I'm just giving you my mind. I'm just giving you my mind.
Got you, brother.
Test.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Telehim 100, Psalms 100. Mizmor la Todah, Harau le Yahweh Kol Haaretz, Ebdu et Yahuwah Basamcha, Bo'u la Pnei Bernana, Deuki Yahuwah, Hu Elohim, Hu Esanu Velo Anahu, Emo Besan Morito, Bo'u Sarau Batoda, Kusaratuo Batala, Hu Dolo Baruko Shemo, Kito Yahuwah Laon Kasado, Va'ad Vadar Amanuto. Psalms 100, a medley of thanksgiving. Raise a loud shout towards Yah, all the earth. Serve Yah in gladness, come before his face in singing. Know that Yah, he is Elohim. It is he that hath made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people, and the sheep of his pasture. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving, into his courts with praise. Give thanks to him, and bless his name. For Yah is good, his mercy is everlasting, and is true to all our generations. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. All right, let's start by saying the King. The King.
The King, 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 the kingdom of God is near. The kingdom of God is at hand. The kingdom of God is near. Dear Holy Land. The King, 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 the King.
Recitation of the Decalogue this morning.
Hallelujah.
What's your name, Father? Blessed art thou, Yah Elohim, King of the universe, who has sanctified us by his commandments and taught us to write his laws in our hearts and in our minds. And Elohim spake all these words, saying, I am Yah, thy Elohim, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt and out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other Elohim before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yah, thy Elohim, am a jealous El, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of Yah thy Elohim in vain, for Yah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yah thy Elohim. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy sons, nor thy daughters, thy manservants, nor thy maidservants, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Yah made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore Yah blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yah thy Elohim giveth thee. Thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. According to James 2, 10 through 12, for whosoever shall keep the whole law, and yet offend in one point, he is guilty of all. For he that said, do not commit adultery, said also, do not murder. Now if thou commit no adultery, yet if thou murder, thou art become a transgressor of the law. So speak ye, and so do, as they that shall be judged by the law of liberty. Hallelujah.
We bless his name. Hallelujah.
Have our Hebrew moment.
Hallelujah. At this
At
time, please be seated. We'll have our Hebrew moment at this time. Hallelujah.
Come on, man.
Shabbat shalom and Sabbath peace to all.
Aleph, bet, bet.
Give a dollar,
Give a dollar, hey.
One sign,
One sign, tet, tet.
you'll cover,
You kapa. Lami manu.
Some gonna pay face,
Sami kaya pay face.
Sati good fresh,
Sati cool fresh.
Shin, sin, time,
One more time.
Alice,
Aleph, bet, bet.
give a dollar,
Give a dollar, hey.
One sign,
One sign, tet, tet.
you cover,
You kapa. Lami manu.
some gonna pay face,
Sami kaya pay face.
Sati good fresh,
Sati cool fresh.
Shin, sin, time.
Hallelujah. So today we're going to just go over the Aaronic blessing song again, and then Shane will talk about the burnt or ascension offering as requested by Pastor. So Aaronic blessing song. Yevarekeka, Yevarekeka, Yahweh, Yahweh, Ve'ishmereka, Ve'ishmereka, Yahweh, 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 Panaveleka, Panaveleka, Vikume. blesses you. He blesses you. Yahweh. Yahweh. And he keeps you. And he keeps you. He shines Yahweh. He shines Yahweh. His face upon you. His face upon you. And is gracious to you. And is gracious to you. He lives Yahweh. Oh, yes. He lives Yahweh. His face upon you. His face upon you. And he says, for you is peace. For you is peace. Together, in Hebrew. Yevarekeka Yahweh Veishmereka Yair Yahweh Anaveleka Vehuneka Yisa Yahweh Yanaveleka
Hallelujah.
Shabbat Shalom, Mishpak. Yes, okay, for family. Happy Sabbath family. Thank you, y'all. So, we're going to be relatively quick this morning, but I did want to, because I was under the wrong impression, and I was speaking with Pastor and just doing a little more research to the offerings. So this is a rough sketch of Solomon's temple, first temple. So we see this is where, so I was under the impression that the offerings were happening in the holy place. Around this area. No. Excuse me. Pardon me. All right, pardon me. No, sir, nowhere near the Holy of Holies or the holy place. But so this will be the veil. Let's get to the veil. So we're gonna start. So the court of the woman. Please don't want to take this wrong. You know, this is just how it was, and that is a blessing. You know, y'all don't have to worry about all the foolery that we got to deal with. So it's a blessing. Wife is a blessing. Okay. So all right. So we have the court of the women and the children, of course. So these are where this would be what we call the inner court, as Pastor was referring to at one point. And so this is the altar where the sacrifices are occurring. So that's what I kind of want to point out. In the inner court, but not in the inside of the Holy of Holies or the holy place. Yes. Okay. So I want to point that out. So now we're going to talk about Allah. Okay. So this is what is. Let me go in order. Thank my brother, as always, laying it out so beautifully. Beautiful. So we're going to start with Leviticus 1-9. Sorry. And Yah called Moshe and spoke to him from the tent of the meeting. He said, "Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, when anyone among you brings an offering," so we're going to talk about the word offering, "to Yah, bring your offering an animal from either the herd or the flock. If the offering is a burnt offering from the herd, you ought to offer a male without defect. You must present it at the entrance of the tent of the meeting, so that it will be acceptable to Yah. You ought to lay your hand on the burnt offering, and it will be accepted on your behalf to make atonement." So if you want to underline that word atonement, we're going to talk about that as well. So the three words we're going to talk about are offering, burnt offering, which we're going to see how bad of a translation that is. Okay. I mean, one would tell you that it was a deliberate mistranslation.
Go ahead, Sam.
Okay. Burnt offering, and atonement.
All of it.
Okay. So first, the word offering. So this is the word karavan. Karavan. All right. So we have a kuf. Okay, which is like the Q. Koresh, which is like an R. The bet, which is like a B or a V in this instance, and I. Okay, so this is the word for offering. Okay. The root of this word is karav. All right. Me and my wife had translated the Kingdom of Yah is near one time, and when Hamimlika shel Yah karav, Hamimlika shel Yah et yod. So Hamimlika shel Yah karav. So the kingdom of Yah is near. It's near. So this word karav means to draw near, to come close to something. So as you can see, the offering brings us closer to Elohim. Okay, so that word, so that's how those words are closely related. Okay, and yes, a little closer. All right, so in verse 3, we see there's the first mention of the burnt offering. Okay, the burnt offering. So this word olah. All right, so this is the iron, which makes some say it's silent, but the scholar I follow really says it's like the end of a side, like a GH at the end of the side, like, okay, or like side, this GH at the side. Olah, the lamed, of course, like an L, and the hey is like an H. That's the word olah. All right, so this word means to ascend, to rise up, to go up, as Pastor Greg mentioned when he was here. How they got burnt out of this word, still baffles me. But however, you can see the correlation, because when something is burned in a sacrifice to Yah, what does it do? It rises to Elohim. So, yes, sir. The wrong. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, still a terrible translation. Can we agree? Can we agree? Okay. This word means to ascend. Okay, to go up. All right, to rise. All right. So this is what we're doing when we're sending this burnt offering to Father. What are we sending up? Well, we're going to get there. But next, so kapor. Kapor, okay? And this is the word for atonement. Yom Kippur, Yom being day, to Kippur being atonement. So atonement is a pretty good translation. Quickly, so it's the kaf, it's like a K, the pei, which is like a P, and or F, PH, and resh, like an R. Okay, so Kippur, Kippur. So what this literally means is to cover. To cover, as even the Strong says, to cover over, to pacify, or to make. Thank you very much. And we know that that's what Yeshua did through his actions, to make an atonement or to cover our sins. And this also has, so if we were to take this word out, this letter, Kippur, and put a shin, what would that word be? Or if this was a PH, that would be shofar. Shofar. And we know that the shofar is a sign of a covering over us. Absolutely. All right, so lastly, the ascension offering that we bring the incense to Yah is our praise offering. Hallelujah. Shabbat shalom. I do want to thank my dear cousin Elder Ashley for this beautiful free will gift of markers and all kind of goodies for my Hebrew man. Hallelujah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Elder Ashley, I like that.
That's too much pressure.
Let's give Father a hand clap for the blessings that He has chosen to bestow upon us in this house. And something that I told the Shane and Manny that I was going to point out is the Father says that he has provided through his ministry many what? Gifts. Gifts of this, gifts of that. And who are we to necessarily just think that a gift of tongue has to be something miraculously given at a moment only? Because wasn't it just a few months ago? Could he have just written, like reflex, just to write letters, to just, again, what Father is doing in them, in showing them that talent and that gift of tongue and of explanation. Again, we can want things, but Father has to be the one to anoint it and to bless it and to make it like it was always your own. Why? Because you had a desire to want to do well. So let's give Father a hand clap and give these young men a hand clap for showing that passion that they have and are doing. And as far as maybe the white would have been better than with the lighting and all of that, but we're gonna press on with this. Just a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we say thank you for your goodness, your mercy, and your grace. Father, you say to watch and pray. So, Father, today, we're just watching, oh Heavenly Father, as watchmen on the wall, and just trying to be about your business, oh Heavenly Father. While the world is running to and fro, we want to be about your business. You have chosen to call us out as a family, one family unto you. So, Father, as a family that prays together, we shall also, Heavenly Father, embrace and learn together, Heavenly Father, and just to try to make sure that we are hearing what you would have to say unto the assembly. So, Father, please bless this moment just as a moment of clarity, a moment of stability, a moment of soundness, as we, Heavenly Father, deal with the times that are at hand. In the name of your darling Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, we say, hallelujah. 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 We'll see how these slides are if, all right. If, I should have it, that means I'm just. Okay, yes, it's way down in the spot. All right, there we go, thank you, it's already in there. So, coronavirus, and this should see how far. All right, there we go. So we just adjust this. All right, somebody, let's unclock this and let's the overall as well as, how many people wash their hands for 20 seconds at a time? No, I want y'all to know that y'all good. 20 seconds is a long time. And that's my point for pointing that out. 20 seconds ain't just going in there, getting some good soap on your hand, whatever. You lucky if you make 10. You gotta be intentional for 20 seconds, and that's my point for pointing it out. That is the standard that's, stated out there, but that's not, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like 3 people to use the bathroom and we ain't even got to 15. And that's my point for saying that to the extent that that is a best recommendation, keep in mind that that has to be intentional in order for that to occur. So therefore, you are under 10 on average. Your child might need what, 2? And so if nothing else, keep in mind, if that's what it takes, let's be mindful. Timeline, and this is just going through attempting to utilize what are facts, but at the same time, where are we getting the facts from the world? So keep that in mind as well. And of course, there can always be lists of different sites. Some information will differ. But November 17th, first case of the coronavirus found in Wuhan, China, as far as brought to bear. December 31st, by that time, approximately 3,000 dead from that city. And again, the numbers, take them for what they are. Understand this, take nothing from that's reported by China itself as a fact.
Right.
If 3,000 is what they say, I double it at a minimum. And you can go exponential when you're talking about China, because they still say that Tiananmen Square didn't happen, and the video still exists. But they still say it didn't happen. So again, that's just, again, we want to watch and pray for the sake of the facts. January 22nd to last evening, so this morning with being here, this is just coming offline. World cases, 145,000. Deaths worldwide, 5,418. Again, that's what's been reported. Critically ill, 6,100. Mildly ill, 63,000. Recovered, 71,000. And as my wife was sharing with me this morning, to be recovered still may leave some residue for what impairment that may have left you on an ongoing basis. United States, to this point, 2269, again that's last night, deaths totaling 48, critically ill 10, recovered 41. So again, we got 7 billion people in the world, we got 330 million or thereabout in the United States. These are our numbers that we're dealing with. So if nothing else, also keep in mind, and I don't have it on the slide, but the flu, it'll tell you that in the United States, is it 18 to 30,000, whatever the number is, that have lost their life from the flu in the United States in January and February. So again, this is where we are. This is the moment. But the ongoing, the behind the scenes, is people dying by the thousands from the flu in the United States and worldwide every single day. So let's never only see one thing. Let's remember there's always a whole lot going on. And never allow the media to only have us focus to the right, while, as they say, they're stealing your cookies from the left, okay?
That's right.
Timeline. The outbreak, which began in Wuhan, China at the end of 2019, is now spread to more than 70 countries. January 19th, first case in the United States, Washington State. January 27th, 7 Muslim majority countries, Iraq, Syria, Iran, Libya, and others. President Trump suspended travel from those countries into the United States. January 31st, he banned travel from China, and the dates are about at that time, that's exactly correct. And then, February 29th, first death reported in the United States in Washington State. So just a timeline of how things have moved from originally November 17th in Wuhan, February 29th, this is where the United States is. March 11th, the World Health Organization announced and recognized this as a pandemic. And that's an epidemic occurring worldwide over a wide area, crossing international borders, affecting a large number of people. As a result, on March 11 as well, Trump banned travel from Europe, minus United Kingdom. And Vice President Pence stated that all coronavirus testing and coverage for coronavirus treatment would be waived. No co-pays, no payments from the person, from the public. Regulations and laws on this date, if they had not already been, began to be erased. That's very, very important. Rahm Emanuel, anyone familiar with him? He was the former mayor of Chicago and the chief of staff of President Obama at the beginning of his presidency. He said, never let a tragedy go to waste. Never let. He was known for that. Was a statement that was known, pointed to him. Never let a tragedy. You mean, wait, we got something grave happening? Now, you know, we were always talking about something we wanted to do that we didn't think we could do. And now we have an opportunity. We'll come back to that point. It was also stated by the Vice President, things will get worse depending on 2 factors. Containing the influx of infected people coming into the United States from other countries, and attempting to contain local outbreaks within the United States. That same date, as a summary, the country of Italy basically shut down from top to bottom. A quarter of their country had already been quarantined, and basically all commercial activities, offices, cafeterias, shops, only transportation, pharmacies, groceries would remain open. Could we handle that? I mean, we're clearly in that direction. Can we handle that? I mean, can the people you know, I mean, we're people of faith. Can the people we know handle this? To only know that the only thing that's open outside is a pharmacy, a grocery store, and that's going to be selective. That's going to be your rationing to an extent. And that's it. Everything else is closed down. Nobody making money. Nobody spending money. Nobody this, nobody that. That's the nation of Italy. We're supposed to get something out of it. And we're not supposed to just think, well, that's over there. We are supposed to get something. All things written before time were put for our learning. Fathers, things aren't just happening to happen. We are supposed to gain because Father says, and we'll come to that scripture shortly. The Dow Jones last week, $5 trillion was wiped out from global financial markets. Single biggest one-day drop in history on last Thursday, 1,191 points. By historical comparison, that equaled 4.4% of the market. As big as that's pushed for the single day, in a depression, one-day drop was 13% of the market. So, smaller market then, but a much larger impact. So still, let's always know that the media, their job is to frighten us, alarm us, to make us panic, to make us watch, to make us stay glued, to make us actually do whatever they want us to do. That's the media's job. If I tell you X, I can get you to do Y. Because you won't do Y on your own. So just know that we get information, but we got to filter that information. And we also, to an extent, need to tone down that information because that information is being provided by Satan. Yah will just make sure that his people get what they need out of it. Satan is the prince and the power of the airwaves, and it is his job to cause panic, chaos, and everything else under the sun. That is his job. And he does a very, very great job. Friday's close, market went up almost 2,000 points. So that just shows the up and down of it all, because all of that's really just paper money anyway. That's monopoly money when it's all said and done. That's monopoly money in a world that we don't live in. I mean, that's a computer just moving pieces around. When it's all said and done about what's real, Father keeps us with knowing what's really real. Closures and cancellations, Broadway, concerts all around the nation and the world, Boston marathons, St. Patrick's Day parades. The NBA and Major League Soccer decided to go on a 30-day suspension. The Masters Golf Tournament was delayed. NHL paused. Major Leagues canceled the remainder of spring training. The NCAA canceled March Madness. Professional tennis pointed out they would have delays as well, international soccer and NASCAR. What the people gonna do? I mean, again, people went to work and then they entertained themselves. Entertainment been just taken off the list. So what is the people? They're not gonna just read the word. I mean, that ain't how they spent no time, reading the word to pass the time. So again, what will the people do when you've taken away everything that would actually keep them? Disney is closed around the world. Universal Studios, SeaWorld, the tech world, Facebook and all Google and all of their large conferences have all been canceled or shut down, postponed. The World Bank has canceled everything. Companies began announcing closures, saying that many people will start working from home remotely, satellite work. Now, of course, that's if your company and your job and your situation even can possibly make that work. A lot of people simply just going to stop working because there'll just be no job and or there'll be no work to be done. He came home early after 3 hours. I mean, if people ain't coming to eat, then I mean, hey, we don't need everybody on the floor. So, I mean, again, this is where we are and things will continue to change. State of humanity, our new Katrina. March 2nd, the panic began slowly with shoppers looking for face masks and hand sanitizer, but it hit a fever pitch over the weekend as crowds descended on supermarkets and big box stores, snapping up cleaning supplies, toilet paper, and non-perishable foods to prepare for the coronavirus. It has gotten crazier by the day, said a Target employee and online folks. People buying up to 8 gallons of water or 20 kinds of soup. Items are selling out immediately as soon as they go on the shelves. The U.S. confirmed its first 2 deaths over the weekend, sparking fears of a broader outbreak that prompted Americans to just make a run on their local supermarket, their pharmacy, and their warehouse club. Long lines and bare shelves were common, even areas without any known coronavirus cases. I mean, again, this is the Katrina response, the Katrina preparation, the Katrina reaction. what did Father say in the end is going to happen? That every man, that if you don't plant, you what? You won't eat. You don't build, you don't inhabit. But right now, how do we live? By somebody else taking care of us. We survive at the behest of the government and this world ruling system. That's, if nothing else, get out of this, that however this comes to an end, do you want to go through it over and over and over? Because do you want, if somebody say, well, in 3 more months, let's swing the world around again. And then a year from now, let's do it to them again. Should we not consider saying that you won't control my life forever? Hallelujah. That I'm learning that there is a better way. Imagine if you woke up and went out to your garden as a regular basis. Does it matter what's going on in the store? Does the shelves being bare, does that affect your life if your garden is your life? If your field and your crops and your animals are how you maintain, does it matter if there's a run on the stores? Because that's just people you're praying for, because you're just going through a normal day. Again, what a big G. Turn around. Blessings on you. All right. So, you see, I'm going to pick my hand, so all right, there we go. Colleges and schools, March 13, Louisiana Governor John Bell Evans announced closure of all schools statewide, March 16 to April 13. Now, he don't know that the final day of Pesach is the next day, April 14th, so. But my father knows, so you see, I'm not worried about the fact that, he didn't get that, as right as he could, all things considered, so, I'm sure that, that's just the first draft. Let's put it that way. Universities and schools switched to satellite studies nationwide. Again, the world is closed. By and large, the world that we know is closed. Symptoms can include and start with a fever followed by a dry cough. After a week, it can lead to shortness of breath. This is the general, the majority case situation. About 20% of patients end up requiring hospital treatment. And again, these are numbers I'm pulling down. So they're saying that about 80% of persons will be able to just rough their way through it. It's another cold, you're feeling bad, and the things we do when we feel bad. Drink your tea and you press on and all this and that. But about 20%, it'll basically take its toll and need them to actually go and seek care. Incubation period, said to be about 2 to 14 days, with some outlying cases that have had it as high as 27 days. But the general average, 2 to 14 days. It's nice when the nurse keep nodding her head. That means you got some decent stuff. Bless his name. I like it, Janine. I can say it. Hallelujah. So who's dying from coronavirus? 80 years old, and don't go with that. That's just because I didn't copy all the information to explain that one. But they're basically saying that 15% of who's dying are 80 plus. They're saying that then if you're in your 70s, that's 8%. In your 60s, that's 3.5%. 50s, less than 1.5%. And if you're under 50, basically, you that 80% that's basically just roughing your way through it, and you're just feeling a little bad, thus and so. So really they're saying that really if you are 60 on up, that's really where the impact is. So we bless his name, because we have our family here that is the primary target of being most impacted by this as it relates to it. Who's at risk? Cardiovascular disease, the majority of cases, 10%. Like I said, don't worry about that one. Diabetes, 7%. Chronic respiratory disease, 6%. Hypertension, 6%. Cancer, 5.5%. No pre-existing conditions, less than 1%. So basically, if you're healthy and you're not healthy and under 60, it's really just a world panicking around you. If you're over 60 and are dealing with some ailments, then this does have reason, if nothing else, to be prudent. That's what it comes down to. But again, the majority of us We want to make sure that we're just clear. We don't want to keep it all lumped into one thing. We want to really know what Father wants us to know out of it. Some takeaways. The world's media system is Satan's right arm. His intention is to cause panic and mayhem, and he's doing it well. Again, doing it well with no understanding, fighting over toilet tissue. No understanding, but that's Satan. Satan is good at making things happen. Bioterrorism is the deliberate spread of infections to incapacitate the enemy. Now, true or not, never know it, but in Wuhan, China, is their bioterrorism complex. Now, China's not a friend of America in the least bit, and they are a strong arm of the red horse that will ride one day. So, if nothing else, a disease that started in that location that could very well have come out of its military complex in that location, spread through the meat markets, and then let's just see what it does. Again, when you have 1.1 billion and you have the mentality of the Chinese government, you really don't care what happens to your little man. Your little people, that's just what they call it when you collateral damage. Because casualties of war, because the war has started worldwide from one city, one complex, and as you heard the reports of even some of their spokesmen saying that, well, who knows if maybe the American army might have brought it, might have started it all. So again, it's not even about the conversations, it's about y'all making it clear of what can be. The public is now aware that China makes, now through this, over 90% of all antibiotics come out of China. So the health care of the world comes from China. The health care of the world comes from China. China is the one who takes care of, and it's like high as 97%, whatever the actual number is, of antibiotics. Because of China's cheap cost, everything over the last decade plus has been moved to, it used to be everything made in Taiwan, everything made in Mexico, everything made in the slave shops of China. And therefore, all you have to do is just decide to just stop your exports and you kill the world. Because the world is dependent on a evil-led nation. So therefore, we don't want to pretend. Japan, once upon a time, they didn't like the United States. And what happened? One Sunday morning, they just decided to attack. The attacks of old are not the same anymore. It's still about attacking, but there's many different ways that you can attack today than just taking out your military hardware in the overt way. Now you got all other options. The world is now closed, and new laws have been rewritten. We were told about the attempt to squeeze in a pro-abortion law into this virus spending bill. And you have to think about it. We gonna know. Somebody gonna tell. Again, it's two sides. Somebody's gonna tell that you were trying to squeeze it in. I say that was one of those misdirections. We're gonna tell you about this so you can talk about this, and of course we're gonna take it out because we know it won't be able to go through muster. But at the same time, what did they squeeze in that bill? That they were in agreement that they wouldn't tell us. Because again, this is how real laws are made. In the dark of night, in the moment of tragedy and circumstance. Why? Because the people are just ready to accept whatever. Anything. That's just it. New laws came after the new millennium. New laws came after Katrina. New laws came after 9/11. New laws are being written right now. And we'll learn of them one day. It'll be written some vague way. But it'll be there in those 106 pages. There'll be a paragraph where you just signed away, maybe saying, you might have just agreed that forced vaccination is now legal. It could be the law. That you no longer can say no, period. It could be the law. It could be the law that all kind of things have been slid in the dark of night. So worldwide closure is deemed the right answer to limit the spread of the virus. But what if it doesn't work? I mean, assumably, this closure moment is for a purpose, a game, correct? I mean, we're doing it to just do it or doing it to gain. Gain to slow down the spread, to minimize the, all. Suppose that doesn't work. Suppose over the next 3 weeks, a month, numbers just continue to increase like school was still open. And like the games were still going on. I'm just saying, I mean, again, Lord, I come quickly, we are flying through this right now. What if a month from now, things are still going in the wrong direction? Could martial law be next? I mean, but remember, they ain't gonna just go for, like you said, they ain't gonna just go for just putting them out on the street and just saying stop. But if we can back our way into it and pretend like we're doing something good, and then we tried and we have no other choice. There is literally nothing left right now. Martial law is like, that's pretty much your next answer. I mean, clearly, you done moved the table down so close to martial law is about right there. You can lean over and grab it right now because you done shut down the world. I mean, and we started November 17th. This is March, less than 4 months. You have shut down the world. So clearly, somebody's exercise, they did some good grades on this one and a whole lot of, high impact out of this. So like I said, never let a good tragedy go to waste. Do's and don'ts, and there's a handout that I have for you, and I thank Miss Ashley for putting it together, so please make sure that you get it today. And just it's a helpful handout. And Father has helped us by having her to just be that person to go dig in and get them things that, like I did none of that. Praise Yah, because those were the things that why Father has brought it to bear. But watch your surroundings, avoid unnecessary crowds, moist places. I mean, hey, I was going to the gym 2+ times a week, close to before. I'm not going to go for a while because it's just not prudent to me. Father says, do all you know to what? And then stand. So Father, I can't. Satan said, why don't you jump Yeshua and have the angels come get you? They'll get you. He said, I'm not going to tempt Father. I know better. So therefore, wisdom says there are some things we just have to choose to do. Avoid eating out. I can't tell you don't ever go out because you're still going to be going other places. But if nothing else, minimize. Avoid tourist travel. Wash your hands often and well after contact. Lysol everything regularly. Eat healthy. Exercise. Maintain your medication standard. If you're a pill person, take them. If you're not a pill person, then take your superfoods there. That's my pills. And I'm thankful for, what we've talked about recently because I've added the ones that I didn't used to do. I mean, I'm a kale 6 days a week person in that blender. And I used to say, nah, I just don't want to care for it. Now, I don't skip it. Like I said, spinach, avocado, blueberries, raspberries, chia seeds, they go on in that blender. So believe you me, it all works out. The apple cider vinegar, it's in that blender. A little bit, but it's in that blender. That's some strong stuff. Garlic, honey, green tea, turmeric, that's on every salad, every day for lunch. Oregano on every salad, every day for lunch. Many other fruits and vegetables. But above all, we got to live holy, saints. We got to be a holy people that lives holy. So that we know that our Holy Father will, as you say, cover us. But through the blood of his Son. We have to do our portion or he has no accountability. We have no expectation for him to do a portion. We do ours, it's a covenant. He's got to. We don't do ours, he off the hook. It's mercy now. And mercy is a roll of the dice. Let's see who got it today. Everybody else, y'all on your own. John, you good today. But everybody else, y'all on your own. But if you're doing your portion, you're in the covenant. And that means there is an angel assigned to take care of you. For the things that you can't do. The things that are beyond your control. Amos 3:7. Surely Yah will do nothing. Hallelujah. Before he reveals it to his people. So just know that in all of this, Father's talking to us. Watch and pray and listen to what he is saying. He will do nothing. We don't fear. We seek Yah to talk to us. Revelation 3. Because my people have kept up my word of patience, I will also keep them from the hour of temptation. We're in the midst right now. But he says, I can keep my people in that hour. There's no worry if you know that you are one of his. Because thou hast kept my word. If you're keeping his word, he's got a promise he will keep you from the hour of temptation because he's coming quick. Hold fast. Because this is light speed right now. And to him that overcomes, I'll make a pillar in the temple of Yah. He that hath an ear, let him hear. Isaiah 54:17. No weapon formed against thee, it can't prosper. It don't matter what it look like. It don't matter how they may amass. It doesn't matter. No weapon of China, the adversary, or anyone who is against me can prosper. Unless Yah chooses to let them have their way. And if Yah chooses to let them have their way, it's already appointed, doesn't it? I mean, the game's over. I mean, understand, someone may pass during this season, so to speak. It was already written. Coronavirus didn't bring it to bear. It was already written, and that was just a part of the final epitaph. Let's not in any kind of way give the thing more power than the one who created all things. He's already seen the end from the beginning, and that just means this was on the pages of the book. We're just reading it firsthand right now. Father already saw it a long time ago. Deuteronomy 7, thou shalt therefore keep my commandments, statutes, judgments, which I command. Verse 12, wherefore it shall come to pass if you hearken to my judgments. Verse 15, I will take away from you all sickness and put none of the diseases of China, the world, or anybody upon you. I'll instead lay these diseases upon them that hate you. That's our fault. Understand how it started though. If you hearken to my word, I will take away and keep from. You are covered. You are covered if you keep my word. This is so serious what we do. I mean, it's been building in my mind and my head all week long. Just Father say, let's just make sure the family is on the same page of understanding. The family then gotta be individuals and make their own choices. But the understanding needs to be clear that there is a way called holiness. And holiness equals salvation in the midst of the storm. 1,000 can fall. Right? I mean, they can just fall. 10,000. But I can stand on his promises knowing that whether it's leprosy, whether it's coronavirus, no harm can come unto me. Ephesians 6, we're not wrestling against flesh and blood, saints. Don't get caught up in thinking that this is about the test kit and somebody else's creation in another lab to defeat what was created in the first lab, because that's all this is the world of laboratories. This is about powers and principalities. And Father says in order for us to make it to the end, we got to go through some things. I mean, what's the point of reading the book if you have no faith when you're tested by the book? So this is a test, understand? It is a test. How will we manage through the test? There are principalities and powers that are at work. But Father has his own. 2 Timothy 1, Yah had not given us the spirit of fear. Don't let that TV and that radio just wound you up to actually believing that Yah is not in control. Yah is the only one in control. He just allows the unjust to have their way until the appointed time that he makes this earth. his son's footstool. This is all appointed, and it's a test for us. He says, have power of love, have a sound mind. You hear foolishness? Refute foolishness with truth. But know thy truth to refute it. Be strong with it. Have no one have you feel unsure about that which you should and shouldn't do. Romans 16, we covered this early last year. I did the verses this way, commending to Phoebe, our sister, because that's what it was. Paul's message was actually pointing to her specifically, and then to many other deacons as well. But verse 2, receive her in Yah as becoming the saints. Assist, whatever. But verse 16, salute one another with a holy kiss. That's what the apostle said unto the people. Phoebe is coming. Other deacons, when you see one another, greet one another with a holy kiss. No. Did he mean that if there's no viruses going on? I'm just saying. Did he mean that? I mean, except during times of panic and, high concern amongst, threat level 3 or something like that. Then it's basically be standoffish and it's no longer. Because again, who are we there giving weight to? If you trust Yah, if you trusted Yah 3 months ago, I pray that you trust him today. Because he's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. You and I need to be the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. He was prudent yesterday. We should be prudent today as well. But just know that Yah is always the same and always in charge. Daniel 3, then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, was astonished. He rose up in haste and spake and said unto the councils, did we not cast 3 men into the midst of that fire? They answered and said to the king, true. He answered and said, but I see 4 walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th was like Yahushua HaMashiach. So in the midst of the fire, you can have no hurt. You can stand next to Corona and have 0 hurt at any age if Yah be for you. But you have to make sure that Yah is for you, so that's your doing. But just know that there is absolutely no weapon stronger than the Father's grace. And his grace can keep all the day long. So when we do, trust that we've already done what we're supposed to do, and Yah will take care of the rest. And let us consider Hebrews 10, one to another, to not forsake the assembling of ourselves, even as we see the evil day approaching. I mean, hey, times are interesting times right now. But even in the interesting time, he says, as the manner some is, but exhorting one another and so much more, as you see the day approaching, that's the time we got to come together even more. Where some will say, you want to avoid all crowds. Close this church, close that, close this and that. Right. The word will say, as you see the day approaching, do not forsake the assembling of yourselves, because that's where your power comes from, and that's where his blood truly shows how much it costs. So we can't walk according to the world, because the world know not the pardon of their sin. So, sir, deacon, young deacon, oh, there you go. Yeah, it's had to get his head up. He was just looking down. Young deacons will do that too. So therefore, but you see, you take it for what it is. But I don't know, 6 months or more ago or whatever, the young man informed me with his family that he wasn't going to be able to be at Passover coming up because of a trip to New York, out of the country, wherever the case. He wasn't going to be. He wasn't going to return till that April 7th. He wouldn't be here. He wouldn't get back to April 8th, if I remember correctly. And I really felt a real bad way about that. That I'm like, he's a kid, father. He's a kid. When I was a child, I wanted to do what children would want to do. I want to do this, do that. That's what children do. But I'm like, when we taking a cup of the blood, I'm like, Father, And I stood at this altar after service and I said, Dayton, I'm telling you right now, cursed be that trip. And Father, whatever you have to do, I ain't asked you to hurt nobody. But whether you got to burn the school down so they just don't know what to do and cancel the trip, whatever you have to do, Father, please bring that trip to an end. I said, I understand that, he wants to. But I said, Father, please, whatever you have to do. Now, we got to show Dayton some love because, but we also need to know that that trip is no longer on the table. And at peace side, he'll be singing praises to Almighty Yah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And I told myself, I'm not too sure how I feel about this. But I'm going to praise Yah, and I'm going to praise him with young David. So like I said, we gonna that's esteeming. Father has done some things for us that we didn't really know we was actually, it didn't look like he was doing it for us at the time. When Joseph was down in that pit, he didn't look like the next prince of Egypt down there. But Father had a plan. Father saw something that was greater than the moment. So we bless his name. And I'm just thankful to know that. Father, I don't know. But you know. And all I know is the end result. Blessed be his holy name. Psalms 20. If we can read that together, because I think there's only one slide after that. Psalms 20 is 9 verses. Yeah, that should be it. Yes, those 9 verses. And we're going to recite this together. And you know how we do our wording. We bless his name. But if you can see it, we go off the board. If not, then we'll go ahead and do accordingly. Psalms 20 and 1. Together. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. Yah, hear thee in the day of trouble. The name of the Elohim of Yaakov defend thee. Send thee help from the sanctuary, and strengthen thee out of Zion. Remember all thy offerings, and accept thy burnt sacrifice, Selah. Grant thee according to thine own heart, and fulfill all thy counsel. We will rejoice in thy salvation, and in the name of our Elohim, we will set up our banners. Yah, fulfill all thy petitions. Now know that Yah saveth his anointed. He will hear him from his holy heaven with the saving strength of his right hand. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we will remember the name of Yah, our Elohim. They are brought down and fallen, but we are risen and stand upright. Save Yah, let the King hear us when we call. Hallelujah! Hallelujah! That's our King, and he is hearing us. He will hear us, and I promise you, if you trust in him, hallelujah, it's already well. We don't always see it and understand it. We see things darkly. But Father is working everything out. He told Father Abraham that I didn't ask you to do the thing with Hagar. But because I love you and because you did, I'm even going to make princes of Ishmael's seed. But my plan is the seed of Isaac. And therefore the blessing still will be anointed. So, we are right now coming through a consecration period that I tell you is all about the burnt offering that was exhibited today, his ascension. Oh, Father, let us draw near. And saints, do we need him evermore right now? I mean, do we need him any more than ever right now? Father, let us be at your right side. Let us be under your veil. Let us, Father, let us hold your train right now. Because we need you. Take our praise, Father. Take our praises. And let, oh Heavenly Father, it be a burnt offering. And the priest shall burn on the altar to be a burnt sacrifice, an ascending sacrifice, an offering made by sweet savor. Sweet savor is true, saints. So, for the aged among us, This is our closing one on here. Bless his name. Did Pops get here yet, sir? The age among us, we're gonna minister if we can come together and get our anointing on, because as it was stated, if you're 60 and older, would you please come forward, please? Hallelujah. For those who are 60 and older, if you'll please come on up to the front, please. Sister Lana, Elder John had already heard what you had already said. He knows my name. Hallelujah. And so let's come on to the center here. But what we're going to do is we're going to anoint our aged ones. Our aged ones. So I saw it written that way. Hallelujah. And then we're going to go into Sister Lana. If you could go ahead and give us some melody right here. For he knows our name.
You know my name. You know my name. You know my name. You know my name. He knows 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 my name. And oh, how he walks with me. Oh, how he talks with me. And oh, how he tells me that I am his own. You know my name. You know my name. You know my name. You know my name. And oh, how you comfort me. And oh, how you counsel me. Yet it still amazes me that I am your friend. You know my name. You know my name. You know my name. You know my name. So why don't you pour out your heart to him? So now I pour out my heart to you. Here in your presence I am made new. So now I pour out my heart to you. Here in your presence we are made new. You know my name. You know my name. You know my name. that I am your own. You know my name. You know my name. You know my name. You know my name. And oh, how you walk with me. Oh, how you walk with me. Oh, how he talks with me. Oh, how he talks with me. Oh, how he tells me. Oh, how he tells me that I'm his own, that I am your own. You know my name. You know each of our names. You know my name. You know my name. You know my name.
Oh, yeah.
Hallelujah. You know my name. So now I pour out my heart to you. So now I pour out my heart to you. Here in your presence I am made new. Here in your presence I am made new. You know my name.
Oh, yes.
You know my name.
Oh, yes.
You know my name. Hallelujah. You know my name. One more time, and oh how he comforts me. Oh how he comforts me. And then he also counsels me. Oh how he counsels me. Yet it still amazes me. Yet it still amazes me that I'm his friend, that I am his friend. You know my name. You know my name. Oh, you know my name. You know my name. Oh, you know my name. You know my name. You know my name. Oh, how he walks with me. Oh, how he walks with me. And he talks with me. Oh, how he talks with me. Oh, how he tells me. Oh, how he tells me that I'm his friend, that I am his friend. One more time, sorry, you know my name. Thank you, Lord. You know my name. Oh, you amazes me. You know my name. You know, and you know my name.
Hallelujah. Saints, bless his name. We stay the course. We stay focused and know that his blood covers. But Father says, come into his house with praise and thanksgiving. And let's praise him. Hallelujah. Send up some blessings while we can.
Hallelujah. What's behind you? Your destiny, your promise, your future. You might as well shout before you get it. God's going to tell you.
want to declare it over your own life. Sing it, boy.
It's my time.
It's my time. It's my time.
And I can feel it.
I can feel it.
Breakthroughs in the room.
Breakthroughs in the room.
It's yours if you want it.
Anticipating.
Anticipating.
Come on, guys.
God's getting ready to move.
See, you want to declare over your own life. My Yah is working a miracle just for me. Hey! I'm excited about my future. Why? I'm running into destiny. Shining into my promise. Why?
My destiny is here. My blessing is here. My future is here. The new job is here. I'll let it be here. Oh, let it be here. It's gonna be here. God's about to blow out.
future is big. I don't care about that other stuff. You can't tell me my future is big because it's in y'all. So I'm not worried about what's going on in this world, this natural world. My future is big. And if my Father got plans for me, hallelujah, I'm going to fulfill my plans. I'm going to be about his business because his blessings are big. Hallelujah. We're not going to minimize ourselves in this world and just decrease and just fall back. We're going to stand on his promises and we're going to praise him, hallelujah, while we still have a chance. So for these next few minutes, hallelujah, Sister Lana going to open up our testimony period. It's going to be brief, so hey, if you got something you want to share, you know there'll be another time, another place, another day. But today, we'll do that, hallelujah, have another selection or two, and then we're going to see what the Father has to add unto this day. We bless his name, how he chooses to do it.
Hallelujah! I don't know about you, but I got a right to praise him. 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 So get out of my way. 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 I got a right to praise him. 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 I
Hallelujah.
Say somebody that looks like I'm excited.
Yes.
But I tell you, right outside there's a 2020 backup cameras and all that stuff going on in the car. I got in the car, didn't even know how to work.
Yes. That's all right.
I want to put a CD in it. Said, no, you can't use no CD in this one. You got to use the SB plug and all.
Yes.
I'm like, really? I'm behind the time.
That's all right. That's all right.
Excuse me. But when I got up Thursday morning, there was an accident that had happened on my block. And I went to my car to go to the doctor, and the passenger side looked fine, and that faces my door.
Yes.
But when I went around my car, that side wasn't okay.
Yeah.
So a student was sleeping, tired, exams and whatever.
Yes.
But he hit my car. And not only my car, but he hit 3 other cars.
Yes.
A total of 3 cars. So when I got up and I screamed, and my neighbor come right out. He said, don't panic, don't panic. We took care of you. I was like, what do you mean take care of me? What happened to my car? They had already did the claim. They had already sent for the tow truck. They had already, the lady sitting down and she wanted to give me an offer.
Yes.
And Brother Manning, I didn't keep my word. But when I looked at her offer for my car, because it was totaled,
Yes.
it was totaled. That tithe is in that figure that she gave me, at
Hallelujah.
$1,000.
Hallelujah.
The Father gave me my plus that $1,000. But you know, Satan, wait, don't clap too fast. You know, Satan. I had to give Pastor a call. I said, Pastor, this is not no church deal. This is a business deal. Let's talk. There's some things that I have to make some steps before I get this money.
Yes.
But it's just the fact that the Father hears, He sent me help from the sanctuary because I didn't have to do nothing. I didn't have to commit no fraud. I didn't have to go and get no loans because I already told him the conditions that I wanted. I said, Father, I don't want to get in a note. But I said, Lord, I want to drive the best.
Yes.
Because I'm starting to feel like a king's kid. You know, when you feel like a king's kid and you belong to the Father, you start acting a certain way.
Yes.
You know, Brother Lord said I'm getting beside myself. But he just don't know. I'm laughing at Sinker. He under my feet now. I don't care what nobody ain't talking about. Don't give me no hug. Don't do this. You ain't got to hug me.
Yes.
Because my Father got everything that I need.
Yes.
And I ain't looking at nobody in this room because my Father, He proven that I'm His child. And Pastor, when you're preaching messages, and I already had the messages at home on the altar,
Yes.
and then when you just come preach the same thing,
Yes.
I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged. I think I want to go on. I think I want to see what the end going to be.
Hallelujah.
Because when I was choosing my own way,
Come on.
it was terrible.
Yes.
But now that I'm doing the Father's way, I don't worry about having my own work. I just jump up, clothes in the closet, and I say, I don't want that. I can pick out shoes. I never lived like this.
Yes.
All this is new to me.
Bless His name.
Then I went to diabetes class, and they said, Dion, you on an advisory board. I said, who did that? When this happened? They said, oh, the people picked you. Your team, they picked you.
Yes.
I said, Father, I don't have an education.
Go ahead.
I don't have this, I don't have that. Father, He get my mouth to speak other words now.
Yes.
Sean said, Mama, the gym not doing good right now because everybody, the students are running here and there. And I had to encourage my child. I said, the Father and you got some business to do.
Yeah.
So if He got to shut all of this down, I'm with the Father.
Hallelujah.
He's telling me about $800 and making money. Child, you don't know my Father. Because how your mama with not much education running around in the 2020.
Go ahead.
I think it's encouraging him. Because I keep telling him, boy, you know boxing money, I'm not looking forward to that. Hey, I don't put you in a house. They don't put me nowhere. I might be owning 3 or 4 houses before you get one.
Yeah.
That's what my Father is. You know, my future's looking real bright right now. That's why I won't yell today. Because I'm starting to feel something, Pastor. It's something when we praise Him.
Hallelujah.
Brother Lord said, I'm getting beside myself. He don't know.
Hallelujah. Bless His name. Hallelujah.
Oh, you got it. Pray, girl. Pray everybody. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
First of all, I just want to say I'm thankful. My coworker, a really good friend of mine, her husband dropped dead of a heart attack this week. My coworker's husband died of a heart attack this week. And it was one of those things where he had some ailments, but nothing that would lead them to believe that this was possible. But we never know when our time is.
That's right.
So it's important for us to prepare ourselves spiritually for when that time does come. We have done the work that we need to do in order to be pleasing in God's eyes. Psalm 9 reads, I will praise you, O God, with my whole heart. I will tell all your marvelous works. I will be glad and rejoice in you. I will sing praise to your name, O Most High. I start off all of my prayers with a thank you. Thank you for your provision. Thank you for your safekeeping. Thank you for my health. Thank you for the possession of my right mind. Thank you for the knowledge that you've instilled in me to know to serve you. It's important for us to thank him before we ask him for something, just so that he is aware that we don't take those so-called little things for granted. We all woke up this morning and some people didn't. So I'm very, very thankful today. Also, I just wanted to read Romans 12:1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yah, that you present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable to Yah, which is your reasonable service. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yah. I'm supposed to be in Jamaica right now, but I didn't go because first it was a priority thing. This is a consecration period, and I didn't feel I should be in Jamaica. I was still going to honor the Sabbath, but I was going to honor it in Jamaica. When I really thought about it, it wasn't about my priorities and what was important. It was about what I wanted to do. I don't want to be in Jamaica. And I'm so thankful for that. I don't want to be in Jamaica. I want to be here. I want to be here in this house, especially during this time. I don't think it's a coincidence that this whole outbreak is occurring during during this season, during this Passover season. Y'all worked everything out according to his will, and we all just need to be more aware of the things that he's working in our lives for our good.
Shabbat shalom. Yah is so good. He is so awesome. I was driving. I left my house. I was driving, going to work. And, I mean, when you're on the interstate, you're doing, what, 60, 65? And I was just doing good. And all I could hear somebody blowing. So I just went on ahead and looked to my left. And it was this Vietnamese guy. And he kept pointing. And you know they got millions of cars on the bridge. But just that one, he kept pointing at me. And I'm like, what? And he kept pointing. So you saying you're tired. My tire. So I got off the bridge. I mean, driving like nothing to it. My tire was all regular. I mean, when I say regular, I almost could see the rim. So, you know, Yah is so awesome. So I had to get off on Manhattan and go all the way to General Meyer just to get another tire. And, I mean, his children take care of him. You know, I had to call my little niece, is like, she ain't got it. So it was like, call Sister Dora. I called Sister Dora. She said, baby, I'm getting off from work. She said, I'm going, that's all right, I'm coming. She dropped some money off, because I didn't have no money at the time. She dropped the money off. And I got a tithe. I mean, God is just so awesome. They say I'm crazy because I dyed my hair purple, but they don't realize that purple is the power of Yah. You know, and it's like, I'm on my second Bible, believe it or not. I'm finishing my first Bible. But to me, I'm thinking something is wrong, but I just have to be patient. Because he's going to reveal everything to me. And I believe that. So now I'm on my second Bible. So now I'm back to Genesis. So y'all just continue to keep me in prayer. Because I'm not going to the left, I'm not going to the right, I'm not going to the back, I'm going forward. And this is what I want to do, you know, because like I told my little niece, right now her nerves is bad, she's scratching, she's just, and I keep telling her, I've been telling her for a long time, get closer to Yah, because he the only one can save you, you know, and you worrying about the corona, you just don't know. I might have had one standing by me, and you know, but I don't know. We just gotta pray for everybody. We can't keep throwing our precious pearl to these swine. We just gotta just continue to pray for them. So just continue to pray for me, and I'll pray for y'all.
Yes, ma'am. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Bless his name.
This morning I woke up and I was feeling kind of bad, kind of weak. You know, that was fighting me all night, but I stayed up last night worshiping God.
Yes.
Yeah, drinking my coffee as usual.
Yes.
Worshiping God. That's my coffee right out of the street, out the street.
Yes.
And I told this morning, I said, well, I'm not going this morning. I felt kind of bad, kind of tired. Just take 30 minutes. So finally, I laid down, I said, wait a minute. I said, today's the Sabbath day. I got to go home. I got to go to my church family and get with them. Ask them to pray for me. But this ain't me just laying around. So I walked to the bus stop and I met this young man. You know?
Yes.
And he asked me, I had some gum I had bought. I said, you want gum? I offered him a gum. He said, I like two because I'm hungry.
Yes.
I said, oh, no. I said, look. I said, you ain't eating the right there. He said, well, what? I told him, read 324 Matthew. He went in his pocket. Then he had a pocket for Bible in his pocket.
All right.
So I said, oh yeah, you follow the word, ain't you? I said, you my brother. I said, come on to church with me, you'll get something to eat. So I'm gonna let him talk for himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. I'm Charlie Cage from Mississippi, Natchez. And yeah, that was a great story because that's just how it happened. I met him on Oak Street, but I was leaving my doctor's appointment, and God works in mysterious ways. I was in an accident going to the doctor, and on the bus I got in another accident, so I ended up at Oak Street since last year for chiropractic and stuff like that. So I just told God, I was like, insurance people is calling and the lawyers is calling me, but I was like, I think I'm broke right now and I need food for today. That's what I told him leaving the doctor before I met him. Just 5 minutes before I met him. I was like, well, I don't want to spend my last, God, on food.
Yes.
I could make it to tomorrow, but Rams in the bush. Here come Mr. Moses.
Yeah.
He sat down with a pack of gum. He said, "You want gum?" I said, "Give me 2 of them. I'm kind of hungry."
Yes.
Beautiful story. I told him obedience was better than sacrifice.
Hallelujah.
It was better for him to obey. Somebody's gonna obey.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if the world doesn't. Somebody is going to obey. So if you just in the will of God, if you're a person that will obey, then great things will happen. It will be big. The future will be big.
Yes, sir.
You can expect big things. It will be just how you call it.
Yes, sir.
And that wasn't a coincidence I walked in on that song.
No.
And today wasn't a coincidence. It was predestined.
Hallelujah. Yes, sir.
I believed it. That's why I told him my problems. I tell him every day. I made it 50 years off prayers.
Hallelujah.
So thank you for letting me be here and thank you for your service to God.
We bless his name. Thanks for all that you do. Hallelujah. Anyone else? Yes, Ms. Jones. Hallelujah.
Happy Sabbath.
Yeah.
As I was saying, I don't have that much to say, but I'm always thankful to be in the land of the living, and that I always ask the Father to let the circle, I'm talking about my two brothers and my sister and their relative, their family, to let the circle go on a little while longer. So each day he lets that circle go on a little while longer, I'm thankful.
Hallelujah.
I was thinking about what Sister Dion said about people selected her to be in charge of the committee or whatever. And she said, she didn't know why she didn't have an education. But Jesus' 12 disciples didn't have an education.
Yes.
And he used them to spread the gospel. So you don't have to have an education, and your gifts make room for you.
That's right.
Hallelujah.
So whatever your gifts are, Shane,
Yes.
I mean, it's just fantastic what you do with that Hebrew.
Hallelujah.
Like someone who's been, I would do the Hebrew alphabet and how to read it, that part of it. But how he makes it pertain to the scripture. And how he breaks it down. That's like somebody who's been trained and studied under someone. So God has made, he's giving you that gift. And your gifts make room for you. So just keep that in mind.
Yes, ma'am.
Years ago, I said that my perfect job would be something, well, I would say my closet, but you have to know that my closet was once a room that I made into a closet. I said my perfect job would be in my closet with my computer, in my pajamas, eating my oatmeal, and I wouldn't have to go anywhere. Well, I'm so, I'm sorry about the virus, of course, because, anybody could get it.
Correct.
But now I'll be at home in my pajamas. From my computer. And even though it was just a 20-minute workshop, I still know enough to be able to do it. So, yeah, I mean, you say mysterious ways?
Mysterious
Yeah,
ways.
so for a little while, I'll be having my dream job. Eating my oatmeal, Charlene.
Hallelujah. Let him
Quickly,
I feel like I just have to give Father the glory. One thing, a lot of things, but Shabbat Shalom, family.
Yes.
A month ago, I stood up here and said, my wife was starting a new job and was going through a transition period, and she was working an overnight job, on the clock, if you will. And obviously that situation right now would be such, and Father blessed. I mean, in the midst of this situation, and everybody's talking how big telehealth is. For my wife to be right there at the edge, the beginning curve of this telehealth salary, as well as she was supposed to have a 6-month training period and then working from home. So now she's working from home a month in, and I mean, it could be so much worse. And obviously, I thank the Father for humbling me to allow her to take that position and obviously stay home with the children, because now that's giving me availability to help out with anything I need to assist them. So the Father is, you can't make this stuff up. You can't write this stuff. Just to your point, everybody, while the world is falling apart around us, Father is elevating us.
Hallelujah. Bless his name. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Praise God. Pastor already read my psalm up there. Psalm 20 is one that's mine in my heart. I just want to say that when times like this come, we always say all kind of sayings, quote all kind of scriptures, sing all kind of songs like "You did not create me to worry." We say those words. So now we walk in times where it's time to live those words, to prove those words, to make those words come alive to you. The scriptures that you read, that you stand on, I can do all things through Yahushua who strengthens me. We read all of those things. Now it's test time.
Yes.
It's time to prove it. We all say, we have faith. We're going to stand. And so now it's time to stand. Not to panic like the people out there, because there's a lot of panic going on. I work for the state, And just yesterday, they were telling us I got to go to work tomorrow, but they're telling us that they plan for us to be at home to work as well. So they're just shutting everything down.
Yeah.
Charlene, I just wanted to tell you that also tomorrow, I submit my retirement paperwork. On tomorrow, I turn it in, and I look forward to July 27th, which also happens to be the anniversary of my birth. So I'll retire and celebrate the anniversary of my birth on the same day. So thanks, y'all. Praise God.
Shabbat shalom.
During our consecration period, my word that I picked was strength. And I know that there is no coincidence. And so when I picked that word, I'm like, well, that's something that I really need to have. Because what I'm going through now is I hurt my shoulder back in November, and I was just trying to deal with it at home, and I made a doctor's appointment, and he saw me in January, did an x-ray, gave me some exercises to do and some over-the-counter medication and just to work on it, and it's still hurting. So he said, well, the next step is an MRI, or you need to see an orthopedic specialist. And I'm like, well, I really don't want to do that, so I'm just going to work on it at home, which I've been doing, and it hasn't gotten any better. But I know I always get up here usually around new moon, and I thank Yah for getting me through my retirement. So of course I have to say that. Thank you, Yah. But I was also thinking that I could be working and having this issue with my shoulder.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, Yah saw fit to have me retire and have this issue. And so I'm like, I have to be strong, because look at what all he's done for me.
Yeah.
And I just needed to say that I'm so thankful. But on another note, channeling the kindergarten teacher that I am, I made the desserts this week, and I decided that I was going to take a word. I took the fruit of the spirit and I put those on each of the brownies that I made. So when you get your brownie, pick the one you want. I have plain, walnut, and pecan. Try to embody whatever word you choose as your fruit of the spirit. And I wanted to read, verses from Galatians 5, 22, 23, and 25.
Yeah.
But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such there is no law. No. But if we live by the Spirit, we must also walk by the Spirit.
Yes. Hallelujah. You have to walk. That's his name? Is this the name? Oh, Sister Jen? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to give a praise report of my testimony from last week, because I know I said my sister, my mother and my brother went up to Iowa to go and check on my sister, and she was not allowed to have visitors. She was in a behavioral hospital, pregnant, and like I said, she was completely out of her mind at the time. And it may have been the best thing at that point, because it was teaching not only my mother but me too, that no matter how much you might try to reach somebody, you gotta let Yah take control in that situation.
Yeah.
Because we were panicked, to say the least. But the praise report is that she finally is talking coherently. She will be having to take medication for the rest of her life, but Yah's in control of that as well.
Yeah.
But we learned a lot, and just knowing that she's coming around, because she could still be out of it. We still couldn't have heard from her. We did hear from her, and she said that it was like something was in control of her. She was aware of what was going on, but she said she felt like she couldn't do anything about it. And she honestly did not want my mother and my brother to see her in the condition that she was in. But she said she's trying to get stronger and understand more about what's going on. They called it pregnancy-induced psychosis and bipolar disorder. And those are some heavy things to deal with. But she still delivers in June. So I know these next few months are probably going to be a trying time for her family, for us. But I just give y'all the praise, because, now when she's able to understand more, I'm going to start talking to her more. Because I used to avoid her phone calls because of the underlying things. Sometimes I used to just be like, I can't take her too much. She's too much.
Right. Yeah.
But I think y'all is teaching me, it's now time I need to be more active in telling them about Yah and His business. And I mean, I can pray so much, but I do have to do my part in spreading the word.
Bless his name.
Real quick, I want to thank the Father right now for allowing us to be where we are right now in Him. We have knowledge of Him, and so knowledge, the willingness to want to do right and be right. We are now accountable for the word that we hear. We're now accountable to follow His word and follow His way. And I just thank Him for being right here. Here as in not here, but here. You know what I mean? Because there's many places we could have been, many things we could have been doing. Someone could be in the hospital right now, any one of us, but we're not. And even if anything were to happen, the kind of Elohim we serve, He is well enough to heal us. And if not, it is His will. We're going to go in the furnace, and whether we burn up or not, we still going to serve Him. And that's how I feel where we are right now. And I'm glad to call you my family, and we're here at this time. This time. So praise you.
Come on, praise team.
Come on, praise team. Hallelujah.
Let's close it out. 2 quick songs before
Yes.
the word for the day.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let's give Father a hand clap, everyone.
Hallelujah.
Testimonies themselves have spoken to His goodness, His grace, His mercy, and His praise. Right now we command, He commands us to give Him the praise. We want to give Him the glory.
I command my soul to bless Yahweh. 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 I command my soul to bless Yahweh.
Makes no difference what you're going through. You're gonna make it. God's gonna see you through. Hold your head up, put a smile on your face. Season of the testing, it's not over. Get ready, get ready. Your blessing, get ready, get ready. For your miracle, for your miracle. It's gonna be alright. Troubles and triumphs, they come to make you strong. Keep on believing, and I'll keep holding on. Get ready, blessing, for your blessing. Get ready, for your miracles, for your miracles. Your blessing, for your blessing. Get ready, get ready for your miracle. Let me encourage you, 'cause it's gonna be alright. Troubles and triumphs, they come to make you strong. Keep on believing, I'll keep loving on. Get ready, for your blessing, for your blessing. Better get ready, for your miracle, for your miracle. Get ready, for your blessing, your blessing. Get ready, for your miracle, for your y'all gotta bless. Y'all gotta bless. Whoa. Y'all gotta bless. Hey, yeah. God's got a blessing. 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 With my name on it. 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 I don't know about you. With my name on it. 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 With my name on
Let's give Father a hand clap, hallelujah. Because he's got a blessing with your name on it. God's got a blessing. 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 With your name on it. 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 With my name on it. Our name on it. Our name on it. Yes. God's got a blessing. God's got a blessing. God's got a blessing. My Father has a blessing with my name on it. And we say thank you, Father. Let's receive Elder John Marion, hallelujah. As the Father has given him utterance for his people, hallelujah, to walk in his path. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Shalom, family. Peace be unto you. You got good volume? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right, let us pray. Father Yah, our strength and our help, we just thank you. We owe you the praise.
Hallelujah.
But this is the day that you have made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. And we thank you for your son, Yahushua HaMashiach, who is our high priest, who sits at the right hand of you, who made it possible for us to pray. Because when we pray, Father, you bring about your will.
Hallelujah.
And we thank you that you have brought us out of the world of darkness into this marvelous light. Wow. Thank you. So now, Father, we can lift up holy hands without any shame.
Thank you, Father.
Because you've taken our guilt away.
Hallelujah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's a privilege and it's an honor that you will even give us your word.
Yes.
Now here we are to bless you and to honor you.
Thank you.
And to reverence you.
Thank you.
And to keep your commands.
Yes.
Because we know that this is the way of life.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
But we need you to give us the strength. Because you see what we are faced with.
Yes.
You see what we have to endure.
Yes.
But you promised us that we will have to go through. But you said in your word that you will never leave us, nor will you forsake us.
Yes. That's your word.
You'll be with us, even unto the end. Now speak to us today, Father, out of your word. Give us the encouragement that we need, the strength that we need, and the mind to want to serve you, and a heart to accept you. In the name of your Son, our High Priest, Yahushua HaMashiach, we say hallelujah. Bless Yah, hallelujah. Yah is good, and his mercy endures forever. I'm not going to prolong, but Mike pretty much went through everything this morning.
Stop playing.
You know, I mean, he did everything he had to do as a pastor, right? And over the years, I've learned you never come behind another preacher and try to preach. That's one thing I did learn. We let Father's word go forth and let it minister as Father see fit. Hallelujah. Anyway, since the lot has been opened, Father, speak. Tests and trials are before us. And the things that we once read about and the things that we once heard about, we are now facing, Mother. Now, Mother, you've been on this journey for quite some time, am I right? Brother Lloyd, you've been on this journey for quite some time. And you heard of tales like this. You heard a day will come. But here we are. Faced with this trial. Matthew chapter 24.
Get into it.
Matthew 24. Come on. Matthew 24, we're going to read a few verses there. And go ahead while you're at it. Go ahead and mark Luke chapter 23. Okay. Really was going somewhere else.
That's all right.
But his Father's will.
Hallelujah. Yes, sir.
And I think we're going to try to pick up where we left off last night, wife and family.
Hallelujah.
What Father is leading. Okay. When you have it, send it back.
Hallelujah.
All right. Matthew chapter 24, verse 26. Verse 6, and then verse 7. All right? And it says, and you shall hear wars and rumors of wars. Will somebody read the rest of that for me?
See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass.
Ooh.
But the end is not yet.
Wow. Wars and rumors of wars.
Yes, sir.
Have we not heard it?
Yes. Yeah.
Brother Lloyd,
Go ahead.
you was in it?
Yes. Yeah.
Then there was the Gulf War
Yeah.
in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was called up to protect the nation
Go ahead. Yes, sir.
in 2000. Wars and rumors of wars.
Going on.
But it says, see that you be not troubled.
Yeah.
Don't be troubled, Sister Yana.
Yeah.
Don't be troubled, man.
No.
Because I'm telling you what's coming to pass.
Hallelujah.
I'm prophesying on what's going to take place.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So do not be troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So we still got time.
Yes. Come on. Yes, sir.
Time for what? Time to get it right.
Hallelujah. Yes, sir.
Time to get it right.
Come on.
The end is not yet.
Yes.
So the time that you do have,
Come on.
Hallelujah.
use it wisely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
David said, teach our hearts.
Yes, sir.
Apply our hearts unto wisdom.
Wisdom. Number our days. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Because our days are numbered.
Yes, sir.
So we can't keep rolling the dice.
Hallelujah. Yes, sir. Hallelujah.
While we have a chance.
Come on.
Man, we dealt with Satan long enough.
Too long.
And if we know anything about this enemy,
Come on.
he don't play fair.
No, you don't.
He always have an ace in the sleeve.
Dirty.
He plays dirty.
Yes, sir.
He'll get you so far out there, and then he'll cut you off.
Yes, yes.
Ain't that
yes.
something?
He'll let you think that you're living. You got all these blessings coming your way.
Yes.
It seems like Father is blessing you.
Yes.
But you got to remember something. What did he tell Yahusha on the mountain?
That's right.
He said, all this
Everything. Come on.
I will give you
Yeah.
if you will bow down and worship me.
Come on.
Won't do it.
Come on.
So he'll turn the tables and make it seem like that you're serving Yah.
Yes. Yes, sir.
But we're so far out of the way. And all these blessings are coming.
Yes.
You know, your job is doing well.
Right.
Yes.
Money in the bank.
Things.
Things
Yes.
got us blinded thinking that we're okay.
Come on.
Yes. Yes, sir.
It's an illusion.
But it's just, thank you, it's just an illusion.
Yes. Yes.
He'll get you so far,
Yes.
and he'll cut you off. Not only did you lose your life
Go ahead.
physically, but now you lost your life spiritually.
Salvation.
Because the next face you'll see
Yes.
in judgment is Yah. He gonna say, depart from me.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
For nation shall rise against nation,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines.
Yes.
Are not we dealing with famines now in this
Yes,
world?
sir.
Come on.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, son.
And pestilence.
Yes. Yes.
This is what we're dealing with.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. And earthquakes in diverse places.
Yeah.
And he says, although this is not the end yet, it's the beginning
Yes.
of sorrow.
Yes. More to come.
There's more to come.
Come on.
There's more to come.
Get it right?
Just the beginning of sorrow.
You can't take this.
So my question is, I'm going to stop right now for a moment. My question is, where are you?
Yes.
Where are we? Are we in the camp?
Go ahead.
Better be.
What's the other choice?
Better be.
Or are you outside the camp?
Oh, I want that.
Outside the camp.
I want to do that.
Luke
Yes.
chapter 23. Luke chapter 23. Uh-huh. Luke 23. Did I say that right? I'm sorry, 21. My apologies. 21. 21, and we're going to start at verse 25 through 28. Okay?
Yes.
And I'm just going to read that through. Okay. And it says, once again, this is Luke. This is from another perspective here.
Yes.
4 Gospels, Synoptic Gospels is what they call it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now, how many know that everybody takes a piece of the story? This is how you know it's not collusion.
Yeah.
That they got together and said, okay, look, you say this to try to prove a point. It's just like if we all watch a movie, somebody's going to pick something out
Yes.
in each movie
Yes.
that hit them. You see what I'm saying? So now, Luke, and there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth, distress of nations. Distress of nations. Here we go.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. You know, there was some tsunamis that did happen, am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
Seas roaring, and men's hearts killing them for fear. People running everywhere now. Just hit a skid of fighting, you know, like you said, over toilet paper. Fear. I don't know what's going to take place next, so I got to get this because I don't know what the next day is going to hold.
Right.
Fighting for fear. Their hearts has gripped them. And for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. Did not we say some time ago that we pray from a place of where we are?
Yes, sir.
Am I right?
Yes.
So we pray from where we are in him.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Are we not in Yahusha?
Hallelujah.
Hamashiach?
Yes.
Because of the blood?
Yes.
So now, when we pray because we're in him and not that we're trying to get to him.
Hallelujah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mind, will, and spirit.
That shows the authority that now he has given you.
Yes.
And we have to walk in that authority.
Yes. We must.
Come on.
Did not we read in Ephesians that he has blessed us with all spiritual blessings in heavenly places? Did not we read that he has taken us from a place of sin, then seated us in him?
Hallelujah.
That's the word.
So now our hearts shouldn't be fearing. But if,
Yes.
that's why we're here.
That's right.
To encourage our brothers and sisters, because we know that we all haven't grown yet.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're still growing.
Yes.
We're still growing. And that's what faith is.
Yes.
Faith just don't happen just like that. There's a testing of your faith which will build faith.
Right.
Yes. That's it.
Men's hearts failing him for fear. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for the redemption draweth nigh. And he spake to them a parable. Behold, the fig tree and all the trees, when they now shoot forth, you shall see and know yourselves that summer is now at hand.
Hallelujah.
So likewise ye, when ye see these things come to pass, know that the kingdom of Yah is nigh at hand.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
The kingdom of Yah is such a beautiful song. Is near it.
Yes.
The kingdom of Yah is nearing.
The kingdom
Help me out. I'll lose it. Yeah.
The kingdom of Yah is nearing.
What must you do?
Oh, repent, be baptized in Yahshua's name, and Yah will give you his Holy Spirit. You may be sealed to become again. Your kingdom of God is near.
The kingdom is at hand. Is that not what we're striving for? His kingdom.
Yes.
So likewise, when you see these things come to pass, know that the kingdom of Yah is at hand. Verily, I say unto you, this generation shall not pass away till all be fulfilled. Heaven and the earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. Key verses. 34. Take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and the cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unaware. So in other words, don't go back to what you have been delivered from.
Hallelujah.
Oh, I got time. Remember, we just said that a few minutes ago. The end is coming, but it's not yet. Oh, so I got time. No. No, not that kind of time. Not that time, but now you go back to doing what we used to do. No. We don't want to do that. For as a snare, it shall come on all of them that dwell on the face of the whole earth.
Yes.
So those that take this lightly, once the ark is sealed, baby, that's it. We ain't getting in. So we have to manage our time wisely. Teach our hearts. You know, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom, Father. For as a snare it shall come upon them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. He says, watch ye therefore, and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and stand before the Son of Man. So everything that we're doing, we're just not marking time.
No, sir.
The efforts that we put forth to keep fathers more deemed his appointed times.
Yes, sir.
We are practicing what he told us, so we may be found what? Worthy?
Yes.
Worthy.
To exceed all these things. Hallelujah. So now we read about the pestilence. Am I right?
Yeah.
He did say in these last days you're going to have pestilence. We see a lot taking place. Brother Mike brought it up this morning. We're just one step away from martial law.
Yeah.
It's just a decision. If they shut the city down, all you got to do is just make a phone call. Next step, hey, we need y'all to go over here. We need troops over here. We need this over here. Guard this, do this, go over here, go there. It's done. Just one phone call away. That's it. That's it. There's nothing else that has to be done. Matter of fact, it's already in the agenda. And if you ask me, thank you, brother. I'm getting ready to go there. If you ask me, this is a test.
It's an exercise.
It's an exercise. Now, real quick, I want to quote something that I read a couple of years ago, about 7 years ago. It was by Rothschilds, and we know anything about the Rothschilds. These are the people that run the world.
Yes.
He said, in order to bring about your agenda, you create the chaos. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Manufactured. That's it.
You see why we need to be under y'all?
Hallelujah.
He's some wicked people.
Yes.
These folks are evil.
Yes.
Satanic worshipers.
Yes.
Evil.
Yes.
We can't be outside the camp.
No, sir. No chance. No chance.
I don't have that power within myself.
No.
I don't have $1 million right now to go build a bunker in the hills somewhere and have my own water and air and everything.
Yes.
So all we can do is trust y'all.
Hallelujah.
Did not he say he will be a fortress?
Hallelujah. Out. Yes. See you coming.
Where am I going?
Hallelujah.
What do you want me to do? Hallelujah. He covers us.
Yes, it does.
Exodus chapter 9. Exodus chapter 9. Brother Shane, I'm going to ask you to read. And I'm getting ready to close. Like I said all this morning. We covered a lot of ground. We covered ground. I just want us to encourage. Be encouraged. Now we get ready to walk this thing for real now.
That's
right.
Since Dion, this ain't no more theory.
No.
Reality, son.
This reality here, brother.
This
This reality.
You better be ready.
This is real. So all this time we spend praying and 3 times a day and fasting, take this stuff to heart.
Yes.
You better.
Take this stuff to heart. Like I said, we're not praying to get there. We're praying because we're already there.
Thank you, Father.
We in it. We in it.
Being in the room.
We already there.
Hallelujah.
We're right there in him. He got us covered. He promised us. He promised us. Okay. Exodus chapter 9. Brother Shane.
Exodus chapter 9, verse 1. Then Yah said unto Moshe, Go in unto Pharaoh and tell him, Thus said Yah Elohim of the Hebrews, Let my people go, that they may serve me. For if thou refuse to let them go, and wilt hold them still, behold, the hand of Yah is upon thy cattle which is in the field, upon the horses, upon the asses, upon the camels, upon the oxen, and upon the sheep. There shall be very grievous murrain.
Yes, yes.
And Yah shall sever between the cattle of Israel and the cattle of Mizraim. And there shall nothing die of all that is the children's of Israel.
Hold right there. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Did you get that?
Last thing. Anointing.
Who wouldn't want to serve a Yah like this?
Consecrate that. Hallelujah.
You mean to tell me that in the midst of everything going on, Brother Mike,
Yes.
in all of this, he's going to keep me and my possession?
Yes. You and yours. Hallelujah.
Who would not want to serve a Yah like this?
Yes. Oh, I'm excited.
Read on.
Yes.
Verse 5.
Verse 5, thank you. And Yah appointed a set time, saying, Tomorrow Yah shall do this thing in the land. And Yah did that thing on the morrow, and all the cattle of Mizraim died. But none of the cattle of the children of Israel died.
Hold on right there. That means we still going to eat.
Fear not. Fear not.
He's a preserver.
Yes.
He's a keeper.
Yes.
Yeah, he said he's a provider.
Yes. Not one.
If he have to, he'll cause the quail to fall right in the camp.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He did it before.
And he'll do it again. If he did it before, he'll do it again. Sing God right now. Sing God right then. If he did it before, he'll do it again. Sing God right now. Sing God back then. Woo!
Hallelujah.
That's when we get indignant. That sing we praise like that. Father ain't saved me from the club just for the day. He said, I'm going to take that same joy and I'm going to transfer it. Woo! That's how you got to get, man. You got to remember. Sing Yah right now. Sing Yah back then.
Yes.
Did not he say I'm the same yesterday?
That's right.
Today?
Ever.
2 weeks from now,
That's right.
I'm still powerful. A month from now, I'm still almighty.
Hallelujah.
Yes, sir.
Hallelujah. Yes.
Thank you for the blessings, Father. Come on,
Hallelujah.
Yes.
Father in heaven.
Hallelujah.
Ah, man. Sing Yah right now.
Not one.
Sing Yah back then.
Not one.
Where did we leave off at?
Verse 7.
Verse 7. Go ahead.
Verse 7. And Pharaoh sent, and behold, there was not one of the cattle of the Israelites dead. And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he did not let the people go.
Boy, people gonna be mad. Be mad.
Yes. Well.
Because see, when you walk in pride, that is something that grips you to where you can't humble yourself because you're so busy trying to destroy the next person.
Yes. No glory. Say it again.
That you're so mad.
Yes.
So mad.
Yes.
You can't even see your wrong.
Now that's mad.
Yes.
Read, brother.
Verse 8. And Yah said unto Moshe and unto Aaron, Take you take to you handfuls of ashes of the furnace, and let Moshe sprinkle it toward the heaven in the sight of Pharaoh. And it shall come small dust in all of the land of Mitzrayim, and shall be a boil breaking forth with the blains upon man and upon beasts throughout all the land of Mitzrayim. And they took ashes of the furnace and stood before Pharaoh, and Moshe sprinkled it up toward heaven, and it became a boil breaking forth with blains upon man and upon beasts. And the magicians could not stand before Moshe because of the boils. For the boils was upon the magicians and upon all of the Egyptians. And Yah hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he hearkened not unto them, as Yah had spoken to Moshe. And Yah said unto Moshe, rise up early in the morning, and stand before Pharaoh, and say to him, thus said Yah, Elohim of the Hebrews, let my people go, so that they may serve me. Verse 14, for I will at this time send all of my plagues upon thy heart, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, that thou mayest not know there is none like me in all the earth. For now I will stretch out my hand, that I may smite thee and thy people with pestilence, and thou shalt be cut off from the earth. Verse 16, and in very deed for this cause have I raised thee up, for to show in thee my power, and that my name may be declared throughout all the earth.
Now, verse 23 through 26.
Yes, sir. Verse 23. And Moshe stretched out forth his rod toward heaven, and Yah sent thunder and hail, and the fire ran along upon the ground, and Yah rained hail upon the land of Mitzrayim. So there was hail, and fire mingled with hail, very grievous, such as there was none like it in the land of Mitzrayim since it became a nation. Hallelujah.
Okay, verse 26.
I'm sorry. Verse 25. I got lost in the story. And the hail smote throughout all the land of Mitzrayim, and all that was in the field, both man and beast. And the hail smote every herb of the field, and brake every tree of the field. Verse 26. Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, was there no hail.
See, I wanted us to read that so we can see his protection. The only,
None like him.
he protected his people.
None like him.
And who is it?
And who is his people? Who is his people? Service. He shifted it, and there was and let me ask you, if you got a good Bible, you got a concordance on the side.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Mine says immunity.
Woo! Yes, sir.
That's what I got as a cross reference.
Yes, yes.
Immunity.
Yes.
Protection, brother. Protected.
Super.
So with everything that's going on in this world, if we in the camp,
yes,
he got us covered.
Hallelujah.
You outside the camp, you on your own. You on your own.
Yes.
Brother Mike always says this. You rely on his mercy. You rely on his mercy.
Yes.
I want to be in the camp, and I know we all want to be in the camp because that's why we're here.
Yes.
We want to be inside that camp.
That's right.
Because can't nobody protect you like y'all can.
Come on, boy.
That's right.
Can't nobody protect you like y'all can.
That's right. Not all.
That's right. Allstate ain't got nothing on y'all.
Stop playing.
Come on, boy.
So that means if you on your own, like we said, you have to cause that truck driver to oversleep.
Come on.
Yes.
Come on. Take your time.
Oversleep. And before you go out the house, you have to intentionally spill something on your shirt at that same point in time where you would have been at the red light, so you can go back, change the shirt, that truck driver get up, and he goes through and never hit you. See what I'm saying? No, you have to orchestrate all of that.
Yes, sir. That's a whole lot to do, boy.
That's a whole lot.
We don't have that kind of power.
No.
Because we didn't create time.
No, we don't do that. No, we don't.
Stay with me, I'm almost done. Sleepy eyes, stay with me.
We don't have.
Listen, I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Listen. This is who he said he's going to protect. Now, we know he has mercy. We're going to leave that up to y'all. He will have mercy on whom he will have mercy.
That's right.
But I ain't rolling the dice no more. Brother Steve,
We're going to protect. No, sir.
no, sir. Ain't rolling the dice no more. Listen, Proverbs chapter 18, verse 10. The name of Yah is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and is saved. Now my question is to you, who is the righteous?
Show yourself.
Who is the righteous?
Hallelujah.
Because see, you know, during times like this, people will come to you and there's that's when people get this preaching in them. They ain't finna church, they just finna celebrate Mardi Gras, doing the Lent, doing all of that.
All in the grocery store.
But then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, and they'll use God, they'll say, God got me protected.
No, we don't.
Yes, he did.
Really?
Yeah.
Now the question is, who is the righteous?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Who's the righteous? Let's see who the righteous is. Let's find out for a moment. Go to Matthew chapter 5. Matthew chapter 5. You got it?
Yes.
All right, and I want you to read verse 20. Will somebody pick that up for me? Verse 20?
Hallelujah.
Matthew
5 verse 20.
For I say to you that unless your righteousness surpasses that of the scribes and the Pharisees, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven.
Ooh!
Hallelujah.
So, he said that he's going to protect the righteous, right?
Yes.
That's what he said.
Yes.
He's a refuge. Now, he told the Pharisees, except your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and Pharisees, you won't enter into the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And we know what the Pharisees did. Okay?
Yes.
They had their own righteousness outside of Father's
Own agenda.
commandments.
Come on. Come on.
Their own agenda.
Come on.
Now, Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 24 and verse 25. We're going to find out who this righteous is.
Yes.
Deuteronomy, the Marine, chapter 6, verse 24 and 25.
Yes.
Everybody has it?
Yes.
Read it, brother.
Hallelujah. And Yah commanded us to do all of these actions, to fear Yah our Elohim for our good always, that he might preserve us alive.
Wait.
Yes, yes.
Do what? Go back and read it again.
I'll read that again. And Yah commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Yah our Elohim for our good always, that he might preserve us alive, as it is at this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Yah Elohim as he had commanded us. It shall be ours.
Yes, sir.
So who's the righteous?
Yes,
Commandment
sir.
keepers.
Those who keep his law.
Hallelujah.
Bless it. And then
Those
bless it.
who honor his
commandments.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hallelujah.
Those who enter the
Keepers of the law.
So everybody ain't covered.
Hallelujah.
I'm doing the best I can to humbly say it, but everybody's not.
Hallelujah.
Come on.
And we were all there at one point.
Yes,
we
yes,
were.
yes,
There we
yes.
were.
Choices.
We call ourselves a child of the King.
Yes.
We said that we knew him.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Did not we say that when I was in my
Yes,
sin?
sir.
Yes.
I said I knew him.
Yes.
What did the Messiah say when the people was outside? Say, look, your mother and your brother and all of them is outside.
Negative.
And what did he say, Brother Steve?
Negative.
He said, who is?
Yes. My mother, my brother, my sister. Come on, boy.
But who? But those that do what? To do my Father's will. Now, once again, what is his will? Can somebody, thank you, commandment keep. Now, can we find that in Scripture? Where is it? What is his will? Turn to Psalm 40, verse 8.
Hallelujah.
Psalm 40, verse 8.
Hallelujah.
Psalm 40, verse 8. And when somebody get it, read it for me, please.
Hallelujah.
I delight to do thy will, O my Elohim. Yea, thy law is within my heart.
Ooh, so that's the will of the Father.
And his law.
So, he that doeth the will of my Father is my mother, my brother, and my sister.
Yes.
They know me.
Yes.
You want another scripture that shows that keeping his commandments?
Come on.
You have a relationship with him? And it says that we know him based upon that?
Yes.
1 John chapter 2.
Hallelujah.
1 John chapter 2. 1 John.
Yes.
What, brother?
Hallelujah.
Come on.
Who has it?
Gotcha. What's been put on
I
first?
believe it's 2, verse 2. Is it 2 or 3? Yeah. Go ahead to verse 3.
Verse 3.
Verse 3.
And hereby we do know that we know him if we keep his commandments.
Read to verse 4.
He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments, is a liar.
Come on now.
And the truth is not in him.
A lot of liars in the world.
Keep that real right there.
That's
deep.
A lot of lies.
That's deep.
A lot of lies.
That's deep.
That's like the majority of lies.
He's just a messenger.
I know him!
Yes.
But you was just at Mardi Gras.
Yes, sir. I know him.
I know him! He had a Christmas tree erected in the corner.
Wrong him. Wrong.
I know him! But no, I'm keeping Easter and all the pagan holidays.
Wrong him.
Oh.
Wrong him.
That's right.
Baby, you may know of him.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
There's something about him. Come on.
Oh.
Come on.
Go ahead. Yes. Oneness.
Wow.
Oneness.
Everything is associated around his commandments. There's nothing outside of his Father's law or his commandments.
That's how we know him.
That's how we know him. Messiah said it. Who are my mother, my brother? Who, in other words, who's my family? Those that do his will.
Hallelujah.
Oh,
My fault.
Hallelujah.
And who is the righteous? Those that keep the commandments.
Yes. And that's how we know
That's
him.
why he's a strong tower. That's why we're
That's
doing it. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Bless his name.
Bless his name. So we wanna strive, Sis Charlene. We wanna strive for perfection.
Yes.
Yes.
Strive. Don't give up. Because we're learning. And as we learn, we make the change.
Yes, sir.
And Father knows, and this is the time where we can say, yeah, Father knows my heart. Because now we are actually moving towards the thing that he wants us to do.
Yes, sir.
And he's going to grant us the increase.
Hallelujah.
He knows we're practicing. He knows we're rehearsing.
Yes.
He knows that Father's, his laws and his commands was hidden for thousands of years. He knows that this isn't all the scripture.
Come on.
Hallelujah.
There's missing books. He knows that we're trying to get back on track to learn the mother language, so to speak, the Hebrew.
Hallelujah.
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 He knows this.
He knows it.
But in the midst of it all, with everything that's taking place, don't fear.
No, sir.
No.
Stand fast.
Yes.
Because he promised he's going to protect the righteous.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
And as far as what I know, he is not short of his word.
Hallelujah.
Now, one of his promises
Not one, bless you.
will fall to the ground. He said, my covenant I will not break, nor will I alter what I have already spoken. Thank you, Father, for your word. We praise you. We honor you. We thank you, God, that from this day forward that we encourage. We thank you, Father, that our brothers and sisters, we have a deep love for one another, that we are our brothers' help in time of need, when you see fit. But most of all, Father, you are our provider. You are El Shaddai.
Hallelujah.
For you are Yah alone. Hallelujah. From before time began, you were on your throne. You were Yah alone. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. You are Yah alone. Hallelujah. Isn't he though? Hallelujah. Bless his name.
Hallelujah.
James 1 says that know that the trying of your faith works patience. Only by the trying of your faith. We've all read. Sister says she on that second round, huh? Hallelujah. But getting the knowledge won't get us into the kingdom. Father needs to see what you're going to do with the knowledge. So he has to try our faith. So that patience can have a perfect work. So that he can know that we are what? Wanting of nothing. Because it doesn't work if I'm able to overcome 8 rounds, but there's 2 more rounds that I'll fault. We got to know that I'll want for nothing outside of him. So if you take the message, which so much compliments how Father just works with all the testimonies, with the sign of the times that we are in, then just know that we're just at the beginning. Now, if you think that these last 4 months have really run rapidly to somewhere, just know that you haven't seen nothing yet. Pastor Andrews would say we just what? Scratching what? Just scratching the surface. I mean, but it's much closer than when we first believed. Let's give Father a hand clap, Elder John, for giving us a word. Hallelujah. Father's a blessing, and I'm excited. I mean, Bishop Paul can say what? That we need this to help us make it through, huh? To the next time we come together. Because we're going to hear a lot of foolishness between these next 7 days, correct? Oh, gosh. I mean, just tune it down. If you get alerts on your phone, I mean, gosh, can there be anything? I mean, just tune it out. But we got to be able to tune y'all in.
That's right.
That's how we tune it up.
That's good.
Say whatever you want. I know who I serve.
Right.
And you're not about to toss me. You're not about to make me worry.
Right.
Clear all of the shelves. There'll be man in my backyard. If that's how it has to be, all I gotta do is live holy, and he's going to take care of me. Water will start to run from the rock. If that's how it needs to be. But maybe that's why we fast a little more often also. So we're those who need to go and try to store it all up because they're trying to prevent what may happen tomorrow. I'm just praising Yah today because I already know that he's going to take care of me tomorrow. He's going to take care of me next week. The harvest is great. The labors are few. If you're willing to serve him, he has purpose to keeping you strong and ready to get out there on the battlefield. Now, if there is no purpose that he can get out of you, then why spend the time keeping you? But if he sees that Brian will serve me, Brian will declare my name, Brian will teach my truth, then maybe I'll just have purpose in keeping Brian around for a few more tomorrows. And that's what he's looking down, saying, who's willing to be about my business. There's value in keeping them one more day. But for everybody else, throw the dice against the wall and see how many of them get to make it. Because there's no value. So, Father, one more hand clap, because we thank you today. Because we came to praise you and to serve you. Sister Lamb, you better close us out. Hallelujah. We bless his name. Hallelujah. He named the song. Hallelujah.
Elder John mentioned it in his last few words. You are L alone. So come on up. If you know you can help me with this song, come on, help me up. You're not an L created by human hands. You're not an L dependent on any mortal man. Anybody who knows this song, CKC, join us. You're not an L in need of anything that we can give. By your plan, that's just the way you are. Watch this. You're not an L created by human hands. You're not an L dependent on any mortal man. You're not an L dependent on anything you can give by your plan. That's just the way. Now watch this. Any CKC members who love this song and who convicted this morning, come on, help me out this morning. I'm going to sing it by myself. Come on, as you come up here this morning. Watch this. You're not an L created by human hands. You're not an L dependent on any mortal man. You're not an L in need of anything we can give by your plan. You're not an L. You're not an L created by you. You're not an L. Human man, on any mortal man. You're not an L in need of anything by your plan, by your plan. That's just the way. You're not an L, you're not an L created by human hands. You're not an L dependent on any mortal man. You're not an L in need of anything we can give. By your plan, that's just the way. You are not alone. For time began, you are on the throne. You are not alone. And right now,
prayer that our brother and Savior taught us to pray together. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever. Heavenly Father, bless the food we shall receive, allow the nourishers and keep us, not be harmful to our health. Take us safely from this place today, O Heavenly Father, to our destinations, O Heavenly Father. But keep us, O Heavenly Father, in your reach wherever we go, whatever we're doing. Please, Father, don't do it without us. Let your healing hands, let your mighty, O Heavenly Father, comforter, continue to keep us each and every day. Father, keep our minds stayed on you as the world continues to decay around us. But this be the beginning of sorrows, but you are even at the door. So, Father, we thank you for your love, we thank you for your protection, and we thank you for your kindness. In the name of your darling Son, our brother and Savior, Yoshua HaMashiach, we say, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. When I say it to one, I say it to all. Watch and pray in Yeshua's name. Hallelujah. Bless his name. One more round. Hallelujah.
Right now,